Shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving out praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Makakadash. I'm the brother in the park from Great Millstone, Tampa. And I want to give double honors to elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach them real well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. And I want to get into a quick lesson, just straight off off the spirit, really, because this is something that just came to my head, bro. And I just want to strike the iron right while it's hot. And I'm going to title this lesson, Satan is after your mind. All right. Satan is after your mind. All right. And I'm just, meditating, like I said, thinking about it through the spirit, how, just throughout our daily lives. All right. And me speaking personally from my own experiences is, Satan is striking, attacking. And he will always start, at your mind or at your heart. Okay. So that's why you have to be diligent within the word, diligent within the spirit, always on point, always having a sober mind in the spirit to where Satan can't overtake you. Okay. Like your mind is always evolving within the truth. Okay? Because Satan is looking for the right moment in time to take you out. And you give him the time, he's going to do it. You give him the opportunity, the time, all right, that moment, he will strike. But this is what I want to get out first. This is Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 23. It says, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So you got to keep your heart, all right, with all diligence, man, your mind, okay? Because that's something, like I said, Satan, tries to attack the hardest and first, really, because he will send demons to bother you, to irritate you, You will have all different type of things you're going through in your life, all type of hell. And then on top of that, you have a nagging ass woman. All right. Or you may have, just Jake at your job constantly, messing with you, or just little things, bro. But all that is Satan is striking, all right, to make your life worse, really. All right. That's his way of striking you. But the Lord is allowing him to do that to test you as well. All right. To put you through those trials as well. Okay. So you got to that's how you got to view it, bro. You got to view everything in the spirit, man. Because a lot of times, that's why scripture says we walk by faith and not by sight. Because a lot of times our eyes will perceive something a lot different than the spirit has. All right. You may look at it like your coworkers, just trying to just fucking with you, just messing with you every day. But the spirit looks at it as Satan trying to get on you. All right? Satan trying to destroy you, trying to bring you closer to destruction. Okay? And when you look at it in the spirit, it allows you to dismiss yourself from situations and things that continuously bother you or get a reaction from you. And ultimately, your reaction gets better over time too. Once you start thinking about it like that in the spirit, your reaction, you have no reaction. You just, okay, cool, And that's the when you pass the test. Okay? So while Satan is making your life a living hell, all right, the Lord is proving you through it. The Lord is molding you through it. Okay? To ultimately bless you. But what Satan's trying to do is give you that hell to where you start to blame the Lord. You start to blame the truth. You start to blame the ministry, blame brothers, blame everyone else, and point fingers and never take accountability. That's Satan, bro. All right? That's what it is. That's why the scripture says, guard your heart above all things with all diligence. All right? For out of it are the issues of life. That's your heart is your future, bro. Where your mind is set, All right, that's where it's going to be led to. Okay, you thinking about all the hell you catching, all these different things. You gonna forever stay in the spirit of you being you. You don't got it, to where, or how to say it, just for lack of words, you always be in the spirit of blaming everyone, blaming everything, never taking accountability, never moving on, being stuck on situations that been over with. Just because you can't sit there and think in the spirit, all right, and pray and give unto the Lord Yahweh Bashmi Yahushai your mind, bro. That's why the scripture says when your mind is stayed upon me, then will you have peace. Because now your mind is always on the Lord. Your mind is always thinking in the spirit. You ain't going to never take something personal. You ain't going to never take anything personal anymore. All right? Nothing's personal. You just get up from it and move on. All right? That's what niggas do, though, is they take everything personal and start cursing the Lord, cursing the brother, cursing the ministry, and cursing everything else. And that's when Satan gets you, bro. So our objective, our job is to protect our minds and our hearts while we're in this truth. Okay, in the NLT it says, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Like I said, wherever your mind is where your life leads to. If your mind always thinking about niggas, chastising you, messing with you, you never gonna move on from the thought. Move on from what happened, from the past, from these things. It's going to keep you stuck and complacent in the same spot. All right? You won't never grow, man, because your mind is stuck in the past, man. So your actions are going to be actions you already did in the past. It's going to be repeating itself and repeating itself and repeating itself. All right? Until ultimately you out. You gone. You done for. You're no longer in the truth. You no longer want to be a part of the ministry. You curse brothers out. You curse the Lord out. This all comes from not guarding your heart, bro. Not, protecting your mind. Okay? From the demons that continuously try to irritate you from inwardly. Okay? You got to be able to protect yourself, bro. You got to be able to protect yourself spiritually. And that's what we do with faith, with wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Okay? Keeping on to the right path. All right. It says, avoid all perverse talk. Stay away from corrupt speech. All right. Now, this is why the scriptures is such a powerful book, because not only it gives you accounts and records and history and the future and prophecy, but it gives you ways how to live your life. It gives you the blueprint into this life, bro. It's a cheat code. How to, be successful and prosper within this world, ultimately within the truth, within the knowledge and understanding. All right. And when I mean world, I don't mean in, being a nigga, but ultimately just being a man of the Lord and getting through this, this captivity. This is how you can continuously prosper. It says, look straight ahead and fix your eyes on what lies before you. Fix your eyes on what lies before you. So just going into what I was saying earlier, you got to be able to let go of certain things, bro. What happened in the past, things, holding on to that, you will never be able to fix your eyes on the things that lies before you. Okay, you're never going to be able to get to that point. You're never going to be able to get to where you really want to be, successfully in this truth. All right. But even in life, okay, you fall for the same tricks, the same things that tripped you up before, you're never going to accomplish anything, because all the old shit just still bothering you. Excuse me for my French, but, that's what it is, bro. That's why I say, bro, the scriptures give you a blueprint, a cheat code on how to live, bro. How to be. Minding your business. Just focus on work. Focus on the work, man. Focus on the work. Focus on the truth. Focus on the things you need to get done in order to continue to be sustainable, for the Lord to continue to show mercy upon you and help you through situations. All right? Look straight ahead. Look at the goal. Look at the rewards that's ahead of you. Look at the kingdom. Think about the kingdom. Thinking about, spiritual powers and all the things that's going to be we're going to be blessed with. All right? This shit ain't nothing, bro. You can, that's when it doesn't become personal anymore. When you realize, like, bro, like, this is all temporary, and the Lord is about to bless us with something that's going to make us forget all about this. Then that's when you never take anything personal. Though it hurts, though the flesh is going through it, though the flesh may get offended, but your spirit is always in the mind, and your mind is always in the spirit. Okay? That's one thing about it. Your spirit and your mind, protect those, man. Which your spirit really is your mind. All right? Okay? So it's just like, you got to be able to protect that, your heart, man. Protect your spirit. Protect, your morals. Okay? Protect it all. Your path, man. So Satan doesn't, deter you away from the truth. Deter you away from the faith. All right? It says, mark out a straight path for your feet. Stay on the path. Stay on the safe path. So mark out a path for your straight path for your feet, man. That straight path. Just doing the work. Focus on the truth. Focus on the Lord. It's straight, bro. Everything leads. Doing that just leads over to the kingdom, man. Doing the work. Growing in faith. Growing in wisdom, knowledge, understanding. All these different things is leading into that straight. It's all upon that straight path on leading into the kingdom, man, of salvation. Leading into salvation, man. Okay? So mark out a straight path for your feet to follow. All right? And go that way. All right? Continue to stay, submitting to order. Submitting unto the scriptures, the commandments. All right? And listening to brothers, watching, growing. Okay? It says don't get sidetracked. Don't get distracted. All right? Don't go get distracted along the path to get sidetracked. Now you over there, at a club and you can't leave it. Now you there every night. Man, Salakia, the FaceTime, or not the FaceTime, but the recording cut out because of the FaceTime. But, as I was saying, you can't get sidetracked, man. And it's truth. You can't just, focus on all the, like I said, going to clubs every night. Next thing you know, you get a whole group of friends. And them niggas is in the world. Now they always want to go out to the club even more. They want to go. They don't want to just go out to the club. They want to go on different, different dates and shit. Next thing you know, you commit adultery and, all right? And you don't want to do that, bro. That's something you don't want to do, is get stuck in this world, man. Get stuck in the worldly desires that this flesh has. Once you get there, man, the Lord will spew you out. And it ain't no coming back. Unless the Lord is going to let you go through that route for a lesson and then bring you back. But ultimately, the Lord will not come back, bro. A lot of guys died, bro, got judged after falling out the truth. All right? So it says, don't get sidetracked. Keep your feet from following evil. So keep your feet from following after evil, man. Follow after the right path, the righteous path, the correct path. All right, and the Lord will sustain and bless you. All right, in all your ways. All right, so it's just like, you go through things, but the Lord will always have you, preserve you, show mercy upon you, at the end of it all. Once you come experiencing this thing, you realize that it's always going to be ups, downs, but every time you go up, you learn from the past when you were down. And, each time you go down, you're learning within that, time of you being down, bro. You being afflicted, but you always become stronger in the spirit, man. You always learn something, man. All right. I think I got one more on me. I believe it's, I'm just, like I said, it's all through the spirit. I'm kind of just going off the dome with this one. That was a scripture I thought of, and then it was, I believe, this one. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, the devil, Satan. All right, he prowls around like a warring lion looking for someone to devour. So that's why I say you got to protect your mind. This isn't an NLT, so I don't care if I didn't say that. But you got to protect your mind, man, because that's what Satan is doing. He's prowling around. He prowls around like a warring lion waiting for the moment to strike and devour whoever is in this truth and knowledge and understanding. See, he don't want the niggas that's in the world because they already got, bro. Like, it's nothing, he used them niggas as pawns at that point to get you, to destroy you. Okay, but ultimately, if you're a man of the Lord, you wouldn't fall for it, okay? And he will use the closest people to you. He'll use your woman, okay? Family members, people you truly trusted. It'll just be Satan, using them, all right, as to come in and destroy you from his truth. So even when you have family members betray you, people, women, do all types of horrible things and betray you, just gotta look at it, bro. It's Satan, bro. That's Satan controlling them, trying to get to me, man. That's how you gotta look at it. It's just, man, this nigga working today, It says, stand firm against him and be strong in your faith. Remember that your family of believers all over the world is going through the same kind of suffering you are. So that's another way to look at it. All right, it's like, brothers in the faith, sisters, people, believers, brothers, sisters, children, they all that believe, they catching their own, we all catching our own hell, bro. We all going through our own certain things, bro, because the Lord chosen us to be able to go through that route. He knows that we were able to take it. So once you look at it like, okay, I'm not the only one, man, like, what do I got to cry about? Somebody that's going through much worse, a brother that's going through much worse. That's when you just let it be, bro, and just continue to pray that the Lord keep you. All right. So with that, Lord, when this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in, we give our praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakadash. Once again, double honor to elders and apostles, the great millstone who teach you well. Shalom, Akim.